Thank you to Shortform for sponsoring this video. So whether we like to admit it or not, money is actually one of the most important things in our lives. I'll actually go as far as saying it's probably the fourth most important thing in our life. First being your religion, second being your health, third being family and relationships, and fourth being money. And given that fact, it's actually crazy that most people don't actually take the time to sit down and learn what money actually is, how we can control it, and how we can use money to improve our quality of life.
Make a lot of money.
Many of us, including myself a couple of years ago, will base our understanding of money through everything that we were taught back in school, which is essentially zero. In this video, I'll be taking you guys through 5 books about personal finance and money that have completely changed the game for me when it comes to my personal finance, and I know for sure that it'll absolutely change the way you view, use, and control money. What is going on, guys? My name is Kenji, welcome back to my channel. Hopefully it's not the first time you're watching one of my videos, but just in case it is, I'm an entrepreneur and doctor, and welcome back to the Money Talks Club, where I make videos on how to improve your personal finance and therefore improve your quality of life. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the very first book that I recommend you guys read, which is called Talking to My Daughter About the Economy by Yanis Varoufakis. Now, honestly, guys, I'll be the very first person to admit that I really did not enjoy the subject of economics when I was in high school. However, I really enjoyed reading this book because the author talks to you about the economy in a way as if he was talking to his daughter, which puts understanding how money and the economy works in a very easy and digestible way to understand. What also really stood out to me about this book is that he also uses different analogies in order to help you understand key concepts. For example, he uses an example of prisoners in a concentration camp where they have cigarettes and coffee, and although they don't have an official currency, they actually start using these items to trade and give value to these particular items within that given camp. He then explains how the prices of these different goods that the prisoners had access to starts to fluctuate depending on different situations, like the supply of them within the camp and also the value that these prisoners placed on each item. He uses that example to draw comparisons between how it worked within this small micro environment within the prison camp and how that applies to society today as a whole. He then talks about how the creation of money creates power imbalances and also inequality. More importantly, he explains what debt is and what role debt has in society, framing debt as a crucial but somewhat harmful aspect of capitalism. I honestly really wish this book was a compulsory read for anyone who's in primary or secondary school, because understanding how the economy works, it literally affects every single aspect of our life. So if you want to read any book on this reading list, please start off with this one. It will teach you about money, it will teach you about the economy, and therefore affect how you use, save, and invest your own money. And on the topic of finance and money, the way in which I was actually able to learn these different principles regarding money and change my life forever is through the use of Shortform, who are kindly sponsoring the video. Because the thing is, guys, we all want to learn more than what we have time for. You can see behind me here that I have a full stack of books on my bookshelf, and unfortunately I just don't have the time to go through every book on my wish list, on my reading list that I want to get through. Shortform is a service that produces high quality guides to non-fiction books, comprehensively covering all of the book's key ideas in a way that is simple and easy to understand. Shortform is like having one of my super smart, intelligent friends next to me explaining a book that I want to read to me, because not only does Shortform produce book summaries, it also gives you detailed commentary and analysis that allows you to delve into a book at a much deeper level. Shortform covers a wide range of genres including health, relationships, economics, business, and finance, and virtually any non-fiction genre that you want to read, I guarantee is on Shortform. Personally, the 2 ways that I read Shortform is, firstly, if there's a book that has been on my reading list that I really want to read but unfortunately just don't have the time for because it's maybe 15 hours to listen to as an audiobook, or it's just a big fat book that will take me so much time, that's when I'll use Shortform to grasp the key ideas of that book, allowing me to learn things very quickly. The second way that I also use Shortform is that when I actually finish a book and I want to go into a lot more detail about the book I've just read, like the books I've mentioned previously, I'll actually go into Shortform and see what sort of commentary and analysis they give to give me maybe a different view that I didn't necessarily have when I read the book myself. One book that I recently read on Shortform is The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco, which I'll tell you more about in just a second, but it taught me so many skills that allowed me to scale my business whilst working full-time as a doctor. If you guys want to check out Shortform by yourself, which I highly recommend you do, then they have a link for my viewers on the channel, and if you click on that link, you'll actually get a 5-day free trial and 20% off, which is an amazing deal you can take advantage of. The second book that I recommend you guys read is the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, which is basically a collection of all of the things that Naval Ravikant has spoken about previously in his podcast and on Twitter and other places. You can actually get access to this book online completely for free. I decided to purchase it myself because I wanted a hard copy, but if you're okay with the online copy, you can click a link down below and I'll give you guys the website to get it completely legally for free. Naval talks to us about how to actually build wealth, but not in the normal way that we're taught in school, where you should save your pennies every single month in order to invest that and grow that money. He actually teaches you how to build genuine wealth by investing your time into various sources and building businesses that will allow you to gain financial independence. This book isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. However, it teaches you how in today's generation, through use of computers and technology, we can use all of the tools at our disposal in order to build wealth. So honestly speaking, this book is more about how to actually change your mindset when it comes to moving from a 9-to-5 worker to someone who actually wants to build a business and prosper. And what I also love about this book, it's more a book about philosophy. So it's not just about wealth and making money, but it also teaches you so much more about different aspects of life, like happiness and education and relationships. And all of those things will therefore contribute to you as a person and how you make money in future. The third and one of the most amazing books I've ever read in my life is The Fiat Standard, Debt Slavery Alternative to Human Civilization by Saifedean Ammous. Let me tell you guys that when I read this book, it absolutely blew my mind. Before reading this book, I never actually questioned myself, like, where does money come from? Is it printed from thin air? Does it come from the sky? Why did the government make money? Why do we not just stick to gold and silver and bronze? What is inflation? How does it work? How does it affect our day-to-day life? These were all questions that I never fully considered in my life, but honestly, after I read this book, it felt like my mind had completely opened into a different universe. The book starts off by explaining what money is, or rather what fiat currency is, and explains how the global financial system is based entirely on fiat currency and how money actually has no true intrinsic value. You know, you can't eat money, you can't use it as a resource. The only way that money works is because the government says that if you use this money, if you take it to a bank, if you take it to a shop, you can trade this for a particular resource. The author then explains that fiat currency is more like a digital network where the government uses this to control the money supply through using policies like printing money as well as adjusting inflation rates. The author delves into the history of fiat currency. Like I said, why did we move from a gold-backed financial system to a fiat currency system, which is essentially cash? He talks about how this gave the government the ability to generate and print money literally out of thin air, which the author then argues creates a lot of economic problems, particularly for the mass people, the general man and woman who lives in the community. After explaining all of these things, the author then talks about the different social impacts that this has on us as a civilization. For example, how money compared to gold actually incentivizes you to spend money that you don't have to enter debt, and it encourages consumerism and short-term thinking compared to things like gold, where gold, if you do not have, the physical gold in your hand, you could simply not spend that gold. And finally, the author talks about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin is very similar to gold in that it is a hard currency. I won't go into too much detail about Bitcoin and stuff like that, but honestly speaking, guys, this is an essential read if you want to understand what money is and how money works and the history of money and how a lot of the things we've been told in school is just not what is the actual fact. Please read this book. And if you end up liking this author's book, then I highly recommend you check out his other books like Fiat Food as well as Principles of Economics. All right, so I just had to take 2 seconds to change my t-shirt because I didn't realize that my coffee was spilled all over it. Now, the next book I want to recommend is The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. And to be honest, this book is primarily about how to start and build a business. But the reason why I wanted to actually include it in this video is that it completely changed my mind that the only way to build wealth and become a true millionaire before I'm 70 years old and have arthritis in both knees and can't actually enjoy my money is through growing and scaling a business. One key concept that the book talks about is how 2 sons were told to build a pyramid. The father then told the 2 sons that the first son to actually finish completing to build the pyramid will get his entire kingdom for free. So one son started immediately. He took his 2 hands and 2 legs and immediately started to build the pyramid without any tools and just started to build the pyramid brick by brick. However, the second son was a bit smarter. So he actually spent the first 5 years building a machine that will help him scale and build his pyramid as quick as possible. And the first son started laughing, saying, it's been 5 years, you haven't laid a single brick down to build this pyramid, you're wasting your time. However, once the actual machine was done that the second son was building, he managed to complete the pyramid in a matter of 1 week. And it was this analogy that made me realize that if I work a normal 9-to-5 job and I save a bit of money on the side and maybe invest it in the stock market, I eventually will become rich and will become a millionaire. But like I said, it will be when I'm 70 years old settled and I've retired, and the value of my money will be much less at that point because I can't actually enjoy it. If, however, I want to reach that stage at a much earlier level where I can actually enjoy my money, then I need to build a similar machine, which is essentially a business that will allow me to grow and quickly scale that business so I can accumulate money much faster, like this second son did. So if you're toying with the idea about starting a business, starting a side hustle, and maybe you need that final bit of encouragement about how to go around doing it, I highly recommend you guys check out this book. And if you enjoy this author's book, I do recommend you check out his 2 other books that he's also written, one being Unscripted and the second being Wealth Exposed. Now, the final but very important book that I recommend you guys read is Your Money or Your Life by Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez. Now, this is a fantastic and very easy to read book. The author's key concept is more about changing your psychology and the relationship you have with money. It also challenges the idea that we're taught in school that in order to be happy, we must have lots of money and spend lots of it as well. The author also introduces this idea that money is something you trade your life energy for. So whenever you spend £1, any money you spend at all is essentially an amount of time that you're trading this finite source of energy that you have, which is your life. So of course you do need to spend money in some regard, but it's really important to spend money in areas that align with the true value that you have for your life. The book takes you through a 9-step program which teaches you how to track your income and your expenses, how to get out of debt if you're in any debt at all, and how to build financial independence through savings, investments, and building business as well. But the one key takeaway from this book is how to align your finances with your life purpose. Instead of working just to earn money, it actually teaches you how to get your money to work for you so you can free up your time to pursue your passions and live your life with a purpose. And if you enjoy this book, I also highly recommend you check out a very similar book called The Psychology of Money as well. And that is all the recommendations I have for you guys. Honestly, please believe me when I say that if you'd read one of these 5 books, it will change your life forever, because money is quite important, you know, especially here in the UK. We live in a society where people don't like talking about money, but trust me when I say it is super important. And if you guys want to check out all of the books that taught me how to be a loving and kind partner in a relationship, I'll leave the link right here for you to watch. If this video has been somewhat informative, please leave it a like for the algorithm, leave a comment down below, make sure you subscribe with notifications on to never miss another upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.